you have to understand what kind of collaborations are we. Are we trying to get everybody to agree? That's the wrong approach. Collaboration is not about having everybody on the same page. It is about putting your ego aside a little bit. Can be tough at times, but then talking to people, understanding, or at least thinking from their perspective.
Let's talk about the after state, not the utopian state, but what are some of the tangible benefits? Let's start with that. Once someone adopts this process, applies a methodology consistently, of course, what are some of the benefits that they enjoy?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest benefit is, as we just talked about, is speed and efficiency.
Okay.
If you can call that, is like if you have automated, if you have compressed months of work, or not always starting from scratch, you are always adding a little bit of your inputs or keeping your files updated. As a marketer, I have to keep my market models, my segment data updated. I don't have to do it every day. I have to do it like once a month. I have to do it maybe once a quarter. If I spend half an hour over there and somebody comes by and say, I need this thing right now, can you give me this thing? It'll take you 15 minutes to pull like these 20 things from different tools or slides or something and put forward. So speed and efficiency. It also starts to provide a little bit for focus and clarity. So I'm a big believer, as an engineer, when I started, there is a concept of switching cost in terms of time. Whenever you switch from one task to the other, it has been formulated that you lose about 10% of your time, right? So it's better to actually just spend those chunks of time to complete one task, focus on one, and then go to the other. And this actually allows you to get some sort of a focus and a clarity, leading to the more clearer insights and better solutions in the end of the day. You are spending your time thinking about it, and we'll talk about it. There are I have adopted it to, this was a very software-oriented sprint. The process was very software-focused, but I adopted to electrical engineering for myself. And then now as a marketer, I have even changed further elaborate. The other thing which is very important is collaboration. And in fact, that collaboration part is like, you are, at the end of the day, we are all in this together. Like, whether we are working in a company or our family units or personal lives, society, planet, we're all in this together. It's always better idea to actually find diverse perspective, expertise, and then ensuring that you are learning from them. You are adopting a better solution. Somebody may have a better idea, like get those divergent ideas. So it also enables collaboration quite a lot, which I love about it. Like, being an engineer, when I switched to business side of things, I didn't have a lot of ideas. I have a general idea how the business works. You make products, you sell at some profit. That's a very general statement. But the nuances of those things, there are folks who know a lot more about it. So I think finding those right people who can help you. So it also benefits and collaborates. So I think these are the three things that I would say: speed and efficiency. It gives you focus and clarity, and then gives you collaborative instincts or collaborative muscle get built in your day-to-day life.
I see. Now, there is a monolithic approach that might appear as being focused, and collaborative that could be perceived as the opposite. When you say collaborative, I have an interpretation of what that is. But for our viewers and listeners, give better understanding why that collaborative is actually beneficial.
Collaboration can be different types of things. One is that once we have a problem that we understand, we have some inputs, we are at point A, we want to get to at point B, right? And we have the sprint process essentially giving you a GPS how you would get there. During that time, let's say if you don't have GPSs, you will stop by at one point and you will ask for directions from somebody else, saying, I'm traveling from, say, Portland to Seattle, I don't know, and I take a wrong turn saying I want to go back to I-5, and I will ask somebody from directions if I don't have a GPS. I think this is where you have to understand what kind of collaborations are we? Are we trying to get everybody to agree, that's the wrong approach. Collaboration is not about having everybody on the same page. It is about putting your ego aside a little bit. Can be tough at times, but then talking to people, understanding, or at least thinking from their perspective. The old adage of saying, walk in somebody else's shoes, understand their perspective. Maybe they have a better idea. A good example is a couple of years back, I was asked to create project management capability, or at least report for dashboard for ourselves. And I was able to do that. But then as I was talking with one of the real project managers, and he told me, like, instead of using Excel, why don't you use Microsoft Projects, right? Because you are spending 15 minutes over here, and yes, you have refined it to make it look like this, but by the way, you will be spending 20 seconds instead of 15 minutes.
Right.
And I think the threshold was that I didn't know how to use Microsoft Project, or at least I had a very beginner level understanding of that. And those are the kind of ideas you have to know what you're collaborating. The collaboration can happen when you are asking for ideas. The collaboration can happen when we are working together. We can divide and conquer. And then when you're building or putting together the solution, or the collaboration can happen where create something, a tool or something that I will send it to you, for example, Suraj, or 20 other people saying, I need feedback. And this is not only about creating solutions on a hardware or a software tool or anything like that. It's about, even if you create a presentation, right, that you can always ask your peer, your colleague, or even your kid, like, can you understand this thing, right? And, or do you have a feedback on that? Quite often, again, a lot of information could be confidential, so be careful about that. Don't be using non-company resources for that, but always ask your peers saying, this is my purpose. This is what my goal is with this presentation. Do you think this presentation serves right? And everybody has different perspectives. I recently had a presentation. Well, not recently. I present almost multiple times a week, but there was a recent presentation where I looked at it and I sent it to somebody saying, can you tell me? Folks even gave me feedback saying the colors look really bad. And by the way, the fonts don't look. And they were right. Like, once I changed those colors, and I could see that difference. So it's like absorbing that feedback to, and then next time I will never use the combination of those colors, for example. Yeah. So I think that's how I see collaboration there. And sometimes you are put together saying you work with this person, you have to find a way to work with that person, and all those things are there too. So
those two. So I think you did a fantastic job to distinguish or provide clarity as to what does collaboration mean. And I think you hit the nail on the head at the very beginning with the statement that collaboration is not about everyone agreeing together. It's not a kumbaya. But it almost seems like it's catching blind spots. It is to look at it at a different angle that you've never done before. I hate to use the word, but it's almost like a selfish thing to do. If you collaborate, you get better.
Absolutely.